Previously on Star Wars lore, we looked at how Mandalore the Ultimate gained power, and was then defeated by Revan, who destroyed the Mandalorians' weapons and took the Mask of Mandalore, leaving them leadless. So, let's continue where we left off. Leadless and without the means to wage war, the Mandalorian clans scattered. Putting their skills to good use, the Mandalorians took up work as bounty hunters, mercenaries, and the worst of them became bandits on lawless planets such as Dantooine. The proud warrior code that the Mandalorians followed had little place in these professions, and these great warriors began degenerating into merciless thugs who would work for the highest bidder. But what of Revan and the Mask of Mandalore? Well, after defeating the Mandalorians, Revan and his apprentice fell to the dark side, and after battling their old Jedi friends, Revan's memory of the dark side was erased, and he became Jedi once again. On his travels to stop his former apprentice, Sith Lord Darth Malak, Revan met a former Mando crusader named Candras Ordo, who had grown tired of his mercenary life and decided to join Revan, searching for the honour that his people once possessed. On their travels, Revan and Ordo succeeded in their mission to defeat Malak, but Revan regained his knowledge of the dark side and embarked on a new quest that he would have to travel alone. It was to find the true Sith. He believed that they lied in the unknown regions, which are far beyond the Outer Rim. But Revan did not leave Ordo without bestowing a gift. Impressed by Ordo's prowess in battle and his loyalty to the warrior code of his people, Revan gave Ordo the Mask of Mandalore that he took from Mandalore the Ultimate. He instructed Ordo to rebuild the Mandalorian clans and restore their people's ancient ways. From here the two friends parted ways and would never see each other again. With the mask in his possession, Ordo became the new Mandalore. He took the title of Mandalore the Preserver as it represented his goal. On Ordo's travels, he came across what he believed to be the last of the Tong. The Tong chieftain was mortally wounded. By this point, the Tong were kind of believed to be extinct after their catastrophic losses in the last war. Now the chieftain told Ordo that Mandalore the Ultimate usurped the title of Mandalore and truly served the Sith. The Tong gave Ordo his armour and control over his clan. From here, Ordo wore the Mask of Mandalore under the armour of the Tong chieftain, and Ordo began reforging the Mandalorian clans as he intended to. This new Mandalore was different to his predecessors. Whether it was his companionship with Revan or his lack of Sith influence, Ordo held no distrust of the Jedi, and even helped a certain Jedi exile in defeating a Sith tribunal alongside the Republic. This lifestyle worked well for the Mandalorians, as they got the challenge that they always wanted, but this time it wasn't from the Jedi. Ultimately, the Preserver did right by his people, and although he didn't completely restore the power that the other Mandalores had done, he stopped their culture from decaying into just another group of heavy-handed brutes. In all, his title really did match what he did. He preserved the Mandalorian culture. Unfortunately, this next Mandalore was not quite as honourable. Almost 3 centuries later, the Sith had returned with a vengeance. With their lasting goal of destroying the Republic, they looked to the famed warriors of Mandalore for support. But the Mandalorian clans remembered what happened when they aligned themselves with the Sith and refused to assist them. For this reason, the Sith had to choose a different method. Imperial agents spotted a new way of recruiting the Mandalorians. A young gladiator in the Geonosis arenas would make a useful tool. The agents drugged the gladiator's opponents, ensuring their champion would win. The agents whispered in the ears of the crowds one word: Mandalore. Before long, the title was thrust upon this young gladiator, and he accepted it. But make no mistake, he served the Sith through and through. This Mandalore called for the allegiance of the clans, and they responded. They would war with the Republic. The Empire soon put their puppet to work, ordering the Mandalorians to blockade a major trade route known as the Hydian Way. This prevented supplies from the outer rim reaching the inner core. The Mandalorians repelled the Republic and the Jedi's attempts to break the blockade, as the Sith knew they would. But this Mandalore was a pretender, and did not count on one enterprising smuggler named Hilo Viz, leading a fleet of fellow smugglers into battle with the Mandalorian blockade. The Mandalorian ships were monstrous, and were made to wipe out Republic cruisers, not the swift maneuverable ships that the smugglers were using. The smugglers ran rings around the Mandalorian blockade and ultimately destroyed it, breaking the blockade. Hilo and the other smugglers sold their supplies at greatly inflated prices, but the Republic was still grateful. As for Mandalore, he'd been defeated by smugglers, and this was a disgrace. He took the title Mandalore the Lesser. Now Mandalore remained close to the Sith, largely through fear that his own warriors would attempt to seize power from him. In an attempt to restore loyalty from his men, Mandalore initiated a great hunt, where the best bounty hunters in the galaxy could hunt down and kill the most lethal of targets. This proved his undoing, however. The champion of the hunt, a Mandalorian named Artus, challenged Mandalore the Lesser for the title of Mandalore, which he was obliged to accept. Without his Imperial masters to help him, Mandalore the Lesser was killed, and Artus took his place and became a new Mandalore. Mandalore the Vindicated. Luckily for the Sith, Mandalore kept their alliance and continued to fight alongside the Empire. Yet he always remained cautious, knowing what happened to the previous Mandalorians who got too close to the Sith. Thank you for watching the third installment of the Mandalorian lore videos. I do hope that you enjoyed. Part 4 will be coming, I don't know, look at the time schedule and you'll be able to see, and that's going to be about the cultural shift. But please do like, comment and subscribe so I can start making that. If you did enjoy, also do please like, comment and subscribe because it always helps to let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.